But it was really good for the city of LA to win the championship. Shout out to Odell Beckham. I know he got injured in the game. I don't even watch football. I don't know how many slam dunks he made during the game, but I do know that it was a big win for him to get the ring. I think he just had a baby too. So there's a lot going on in his life. He hasn't had the baby yet. Well, he's having a baby. He got a whole bunch going on. So shout out to Odell. I know how much it meant to him to win. Did you guys hate the traffic in LA? Because I know I hate LA traffic anyway, but the Super Bowl got y'all out here driving like Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder trying to get to Chick-fil-A. It was just too much.
You know what? It surprisingly freed up in certain moments, but yes, overall, trying to go downtown was a nightmare. It usually takes me 30 minutes to go downtown. It took me almost an hour and a half at one moment. And then at certain points, it was surprisingly too empty on the road where I'm like, where's everybody at? You know, it was 10,000 events out here in LA, so people are definitely moving around. I'm glad it's over. Please stay home next time, y'all. Too much traffic.
Yeah, there was a lot of shirtless white people running through the streets yelling, "Yeah!" It was very aggressively happy. I was so proud though watching the halftime show because I was at a house party with a bunch of LA natives and people always forget this. They're from folks who are from LA and so it hits different for them. And I got swept up in the West Coast pride. I forgot that I was an East Coast girl. Something about that halftime show when Mary came out, I think that's the moment I lost my voice. I started screaming, "She looks amazing. If that is 51, please sign me up." It was a great halftime show. It wasn't good as Prince. Let's not take it that far, but it was
Somebody,
amazing.
somebody called Mary J. Blige Auntie on Instagram. Y'all gonna stop playing with Mary. And I don't even know when Auntie
She's
became a bad
fine.
thing. I feel like Auntie, like I got some badass aunties, but the way they be saying it online is like, go Auntie Mary, because when she shablammed at the end, looking like she was on pose, baby, the memes will not stop. And the other meme of Odell Beckham's cry, I think is gonna trump Michael Jordan's. And we'll put a picture of that up. Look, I have to tell you, some people online were saying that the Super Bowl was so black. Y'all need to
Right.
wake up. Y'all
That's
still
right.
forgot Colin Kaepernick? Has anybody forgot him? I know there were a lot of you people who were yo, the Super Bowl. And look, I'm not trying to take away from the movement over there at the Super Bowl or with the NFL, but have we forgotten that we were all standing for something just less than a year ago? It was just a year ago. That needs to be a song because
Mhm.
I feel like we have selective memory when it comes to our movements. And I ain't gonna lie, I did tune in to watch the halftime show, so I'm a part of the problem too. What
Mhm.
is the cure to standing behind people who are standing for causes that are important to all of us?
Well, you know, Jay Z was getting a lot of backlash because he works with the NFL. But now we move fast forward to the Super Bowl and everybody's going to Super Bowl so black. It's because Jay Z has his hands in that Super Bowl performance, amongst other things. So I think there's different ways to fight the fight. And I think Jay Z's way of fighting the fight is like, yo, if we're going to be a part of it, we got to have our culture all through it.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm of two minds because I tend to defend Jay Z because I've been to so many of these press junkets where I've watched him with the people that he's helping with his Reform Alliance. So I know that he's actually doing amazing work in general. But I will say the one part of the feedback that I do agree with is the halftime show is amazing. It's soul stirring. It is performative, right? It's supposed to be a performance that shows solidarity. But a lot of folks are saying that structurally, the NFL has actually not improved. Black coaches still know that they're probably not going to be put on a team. And so what they're saying is it's great that the optics now feel better, but we need more structural change or it just feels like window surfacing. So I completely understand both sides, but I was still emotional watching and still very proud to be black watching the halftime show, even though I understand some of the feedback.
Well, dear white people, everybody watching the Super Bowl that saw Eminem take a knee, where y'all at? I don't see all the
Mhm.
cancel Eminem tweets and all the cancel Eminem stories being written. It's really funny that a cancellation, I've always said cancel culture because it's very selective. Everybody was celebrating, Eminem for taking a knee and saying that it was very poignant that he did so and used the platform to stand for our movement, but our people didn't even do it. And on top of that, our people didn't pick that up and push that narrative big enough that there was definitely a difference in how they handled Eminem doing it versus they handled Colin. It's interesting when I think about the NFL. It really is the new slave trade, right? You don't like them; they're not performing well.
Mm-hmm.
You trade them to somebody else. You sell them off for to the highest bidder, but ultimately they have no rights. And I think that it's very problematic that we don't hold people accountable. And when I looked at Eminem doing that, and let me just say to Eminem, hey, Eminem, thank you so much for standing for us, or no, kneeling with us. But
That's
Kneeling.
right.
let me have you release a statement to follow that, to continue to get us back on track with that movement, because it was definitely lost. Now, there's another question out there. Jay-Z is probably uncancelable because he's Jay-Z, right? And he's married to Beyonce, so that's never happening, I don't think. But where does the line of separation happen between somebody being for the culture and the culture like Jay-Z is, and also being an entrepreneur and wanting to take advantage of a partnership with like the one he has with the NFL?
Whew. Whew.
That's a really good question because I've always thought it was really hypocritical that social media is full of anti-capitalist activists, but it's also the place where capitalism shows off the most. And so I think even the folks who are the whistleblowers who are giving this feedback have to admit their own hypocrisy. So we live in a world right now where being able to flex on the gram and having social currency is literally considered currency. You get jobs and opportunities based on your social media presence, and you have to lean into capitalism and entrepreneurship and running after the bag and grinding and et cetera to have that currency. But then on the flip side, you're talking about making change and breaking down the system. Which one is it? Like, I think the audience has to admit that they're just as confused sometimes as the celebrities that they're critiquing. We're all hypocrites to some degree, and we have to kind of own that before we
Yeah.
even have this conversation.
And I think when it comes to Jay, I think he's always positioned himself to say he's for profit and that he wants to infiltrate the game and create his own. I don't think he's ever moved off his own square when it comes to his narrative. I think a lot of people are trying to project their narratives on the Jay-Z. So if you don't agree
Mm-hmm.
with Jay-Z, that's fine, but you can't act like he switched up on y'all, or he told a lie, he's trying to confuse the masses. He always tried to infiltrate the game. He did it with fashion. He did it with the music industry when he worked at Def Jam, and you have Rock Nation. And now he's telling you he's doing that with sports. Jay-Z wants to have a sports team. Jay-Z has a sports agency. That's where his line of work is. But doesn't mean he's not for the culture. That's just how he supports his culture. And you can agree with it or not, but you can't create this narrative like Jay-Z switching up and he's doing something that's different that he's always done. He's always been on the same course. So that's all I can say
But I
about
mean,
Hov.
him and Beyonce have enough money to put together in a coin purse and buy a team, right? I mean, you change it from the inside. I don't think having black people show up and sing and dance and perform for people on an all-white platform is definitely pushing culture forward. I don't think that. I do think him being able to have seats at the table, is a representative of the culture is important. But ultimately, what they say, what does a man profit if he loses his own soul? Now, I'm not saying Jay-Z's lost his soul, but what I will say is it's very side-eyeing for me to watch us show up and celebrate us being able to perform for these people who are treating the black players with no dignity and respect. Recently at the Black Future Brunch, or the Black, I don't know what we called it at this point. I think it was the Future Brunch. It was the Future Brunch as part of the Black Future Month movement with Ye. We talked a lot about black ownership and the importance of being able to have all conversations. So while I think it's good that the conversation about Jay-Z's success as an entrepreneur is happening, because it makes me as a black man very proud, I also have to say, like, did we just forget about Colin now? Is that over? Because I honestly have not heard anything since Colin's documentary dropped.
It's actually a really great question, but though we have to remember there's different kinds of currencies when you're both rich and black. I think Diddy and a couple people tried to band together to buy a team once, and they had the money, so financially they could afford it, but there was still like an old boy system of rich, hyper
Mm-hmm.
rich white men who were gatekeepers who were like, your money's not good here. So we have to remember that even though we all say it's not black or white, it's green. Sometimes even if you have a lot of green, you being black, you still can't buy your way into the room.